What's going on, guys? I haven't been in any kind of a mood lately to really do any videos. Shit, there's some days I get in the mood, I'll do two or three or four videos in one day, put them all out. Same day, one channel. Some days I might do two or three videos and they go out on different channels because I have six. Um, I've gotten to the point, fucking realizing that I've been on probation, or now, I'm now off of it, but for a year, and I've been fighting this shit, fighting the government, every end of the government. Not like some of you guys think these first and second minute amendment auditors. I used to do that shit too. I used to do those same videos. Uh, I was involved in that shit and been watching that shit for at least 15 years. Right? I go way back with that. That's what a lot of my videos were about. When I started in 2015, that was my intentions, was to be a First and Second Amendment auditor, which it did. I did do that, but I did a lot more with it than that. But it feels like, after 20 years of beating a dead horse, you build channels up and they just get swiped out, and then they totally erase you off of Google and Twitter and Facebook and shit. They erase your ass because that way, if you start another channel and kind of have anything to do with that name, they erase your ass. They did it to me. They basically erased me off of Google completely after they wiped out my main channel. And then my backup channel was already set in place, and they shut that motherfucker down too. And they basically erased me from Google. Now there's still some. If you go on there and type in the original, or just type in Watachi running free, there's still some clowns in other countries that have videos on there where they claim they debunked everything I've said and shit. And people, I didn't have over 1,400 subs ever. That was my biggest channel, 1,400 subs. Usually, 1,100, and they would let me get around 1,130 and hold there. If I went up to 1,140, 1,150, they would stop it, and then they would chop it back down to around 1,130. But my channels were freaking all over the world. People were downloading my shit. I was a part in China. I've said this before. I was one of the top 10. What they call it? It's like the Kardashians and shit. It's real TV or real life. Um, I was listed as one of the real YouTube channels, the top 10 that was listened to in a certain part of China, on a certain internet, because they different parts of China and different people are allowed different internets in China, so you have to understand that. So that cuts it way down. I was in some popular channel group 20 years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, that it was in one of those groups that I was top 10 in that. People in Russia, the bearded men or some shit, they had all kinds of videos they used to do on me. The UK, there's still videos up that they say they debunked me on flat Earth and all the shit I was talking about. Even people in Europe, all over Europe and shit. But it just feels like after you've done it for that long, I mean, I on YouTube alone, I started in 2015. So I'm going on, we're working on 12, 13 years just on YouTube. But I started on MySpace. And when I moved from MySpace, when I heard about Facebook, which Facebook was old time. By the time I heard about Facebook, I went from MySpace over to Facebook because that's where everybody was. They weren't on MySpace, but Facebook was already big. Just somehow I ended up on MySpace because that's the one I heard about. But I switched over to Facebook. Hell, Facebook, I had like seven different Facebook pages, and they took all of them but two. They took five of them down because of what I was talking about. I was even working for the government at the time, and but they took five of them down. The last two I took down and took all the photos and videos and everything down, because see, when they take them down, they take down five of your channels. They take all the videos and photos and everything with them. They have control of that shit now. I don't. So my last two, I had seven, and my last two I took down myself. Now, I get notifications off of those channels still yet today that there's got like 600 freaking messages or something coming in off of those. Although I don't go to Facebook anymore. I signed up for a TikTok, or not a Tik. I signed up to do tweeting, or be a tweeter, or whatever that is, and off of maybe one or two of my channels, I was going to try to use it to bring in subs. I walked away from that shit so fast it wasn't even funny. I can't put up with all that. No way. So there's maybe one of my channels has a tweeter, or I'm a tweeter on it, or whatever you call that shit. But you beat this dead horse for so long, you get tired of digging that horse back up out of the ground every few years and rebeating that same dead horse. Well, I buried that horse 15 fucking years ago, and I'm not willing to go back through and beat that damn horse again. And that's on many subjects. And it just feels like that's all that anybody wants to do. They keep doing these circular arguments. One minute we're arguing about whether they landed on the moon, whether space exists. One minute we're arguing about whether aliens exist. One minute we're arguing about whether the government's good or bad. One minute it's just but it always comes back around to, well, then we're right back to where we started. We're arguing about whether space exists. And it just restarts about every 15, 20 years. It restarts, and then you have to restart all over with it, because you got another whole generation that doesn't know nothing about what you've just been fighting for the last 20 years. They still don't know. And that's the fault of the schools, the parents, the upbringing of the kids, because there's no parents at home anymore. They both have to work. That's the fault falls in many categories. But one thing we can all fucking rest assured on, and if any of you don't believe it, you can look over the past 3 years and see who has profited the most from what has happened. I'll give you three of them. Three of the top. Probably three of the top 5 or 6. Pharmaceutical, for damn sure. They've already admitted, hell, they're doing trillions of dollars quarterly. I believe that's what they've said, trillions of profit. The oil companies they're just billions of dollars, and over profit in the last 3 years now. And the governments. Who it works in any government that isn't profiting like hell right now? Look at where they all travel to. They show videos of them in different parts of the world. Come on, AOC. She's so damn important. And she's showing what she's going to do for this country by getting her nails done at Neiman Marcus. AOC, her first year in as a politician, elected in as a person making $175,000 a year. Her first year in, she's already a millionaire. You don't think governments profited from the last 3 years? She's getting her nails done at Neiman Marcus or Newman Marcus or whatever. What most of you people don't understand when it comes to income taxes, you guys all claim, oh, these big corporations don't pay their fair share. Yeah, they do. They pay their fair share according to the laws. What you don't understand is you say you have the same rights as them. But since how they've convinced you you're still a flesh and blood citizen, human being, you're not a corporation, according to the government. You're a citizen or a person or a people you're something like that. You're not a corporation, according to the government. Or if that's what they want you to believe. Now, under corporate law, all corporations, none of them have to pay a dime on anything until it's a profit over and above all operational costs, expenses, whatever it costs to run the company for that year. Nothing over, or until they get over that amount, they have no profit to pay federal income taxes on, according to the federal income tax law if you're a corporation. It's anything over and above the operations of your business, your corporation, from everybody that works for you, every building, property you have to pay for, every airplane that you have to pay for to fly people around, every yacht that you need to float people around, everything you need that you do business with and make money from does not be included in what you pay federal taxes on as a corporation. All that money's free. But prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. As a corporation, the money over and above whatever it takes for your business to operate off of for that year is only profit. That's the only thing they have to start claiming taxes on, or start paying federal taxes on. Now, they don't want you to know that in order to have you covered under maritime admiralty law, which is corporate law, and law of the sea, not the land, what they don't want you to understand is that you are a corporation. They killed you off with your birth certificate and turned you into a corporation. You're no longer a human being. When your parents signed that birth certificate, they also file for you a Social Security card. That's your corporate ID number. Your name becomes your corporate name, and it is just as they taught you in high school, or 12th or first through K through 12. All corporate names are in full capital letters. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong that corporation names are not in all capital letters according to corporate law. Now, at your birth, like I said, your parents signed your death certificate, not your birth certificate. They turned you in from a flesh and blood human being into a corporation. They then got your Social Security number, which is your corporate ID number, and then they every license that you got after that, everything, every job you ever had, you paid money into your corporation. Everything that you sign for that comes from the government has your name in all capital letters. When through, well, I don't know about when you guys went to school, but when I went to school in the 60s and 70s, they taught us to sign our names, first letter capitalized, rest of the letters in that part of that name lowercase. Next name, middle name, first letter capitalized, rest of the letters in that middle name lowercase. Last name, first letter capitalized, last name, rest of the letters in your last name lowercase. When did they ever tell you to write your name in all capital letters? Sign your signature in all capital letters. Why is your signature on your driver's license, marriage license, and everything else has capital letters at the beginning of the names and lowercase letters in them at all, when the government uses all capital letters in your name? People, you are considered a corporation in the eyes of your government. It's not a republic. It's not covered under the Constitution. It's covered under maritime admiralty law. All your courts, let's put it like this, people. You're not covered under law of the land anymore. You're covered under law of the sea. What do banks do? Well, banks that hold money control the currency. Banks of a river control the current. You have judgeships, presidentships, governorships, mayorships, ships. If you're a corporation, folks, and they don't want you to know this, even though you are, the operations of your household, you don't have to pay fucking taxes, federal income taxes on. If you and your wife and your kids are all corporations, then you're held under the same laws as big time corporations, which the costs of those corporations are not a part of what they pay federal income taxes on. The cost of operations. So that means if you're a corporation and you are under the eyes of your government, then anything that it costs for you to survive, your house payment, your car payments, your motorcycles, your boats, all you have to do is it's a part of your life. You're a corporation. That's the life of a corporation. That's an expense. Then, when all those expenses are paid, any profits you have over that is all you would be paying federal income taxes on as a corporation. If you knew anything about corporate law, if you knew anything about black law, if you knew anything about the federal laws and what jurisdiction they are running under, you would understand these things. Now, people, you don't understand. Do you know when the IRS was put into place in this country? Let me tell you, he's one of the greatest presidents they say ever was. Oh, yeah. President Lincoln. You see, he didn't have a problem with slave states. What he had a problem with was the southern states were not having to pay the same federal income taxes as the northern states, and he didn't like that shit. He wanted to be able to charge them the same money, put more money into his okie dokie pile. Well, you see, folks, while you was under martial law, after he started this war, he started it. Damn sure started it. After he started this war, right smack dab in the middle of it, under martial law, the entire land, he brought the IRS to your doorstep, piled it right on your front doorstep inside a little paper sack, and then lit the paper sack on fire. And when you came out to stomp the fire out, you saw all the shit all over your boots or your shoes. Well, that shit, that's the IRS. And Lincoln, one of your greatest presidents, put that in place while you were under martial law. Wonder why. Prove me wrong about that. People, I beat these dead horses. I was still able to find the facts. If you take on these battles to prove to other people, can you still find the facts? I don't know. I hope you can. Because I'm not fighting them no more. I'm just telling you guys what they are. If you guys care, then do something about it. It's your futures. My future, I'm 60. Only future I care about is seeing my grandbaby, seeing my wife, seeing my daughter, my son, and his wife succeed. That's the only future. And it's what's left of me seeing it is not that very long. And I've already told my son, I'm sorry for what my generation left you. I hope you can leave your generation, the one after you, better off than what we did. But you got to fight ahead of you to do so. And I also told him I definitely would not want to watch what my own granddaughter is going to be put through. People, God loves you, and so do I. Please seek God. Please seek Jesus. Please seek where the truth comes from. Because man don't have no truth in them anymore. It's all about money. Branding. I rebranded myself. Now I'm a different thing. I'm a different entity. Love you guys. God loves you more.